Okay, excuse the mess, but somebody was curious today, or not today, it was a while ago. I just re-found the comment, and they're asking about my setup. You know, people, they also really hate my minimalism, but I think that I do minimalism unlike anybody else. This is what I use. I like these pedals. I don't think it's plugged in, but I'll show you the settings real quick. So, let me plug this in. Give me a second. I'll show you my personal settings because it should be easy for anyone who's curious. If you're curious enough, you know. For this one, always go over here. Driving effects right here. I turn these off. Okay. Those are unneeded, unnecessary. If I can find something to use for these, I will. Like these effects, but I really don't. Then you go to modulation delay, you turn that on. And then depending on the instrument or vocal, for vocals I usually do 2 or 3. For instruments, sometimes I'll do like anything from like 6 to 9 over here. Over here, I always turn this on, the reverb and delay. Turn that all the way over to 59. Okay, that's pretty much how I do everything. I have other pedals too. I don't use those pedals a lot, but for certain albums, I did use certain pedals a lot. For pretty much everything, I feel like Shine from the Ground was different. I used a different pedal. I remember that. I think Concrete, there's like a bunch of like albums based in the woods. I think the Cleansing Moon or whatever. Those were like my last ones with this pedal, and then I recently got it again. I don't know how recent though, because I never knew how to use it either. So I didn't notice that you had to turn off the effects in the drive, and I was all like messing around with it one day because, you know what I mean, I never really use it. Anyway, this is probably what I use for the live shows. I'm pretty sure. This effects pedal here. This is like my favorite, the Zoom. It's the best. I also have a silver one that was like apparently used in like a lot of shoegaze. I really like it. I tried to sell it, but I couldn't. But I still have both. Now I have this guitar. It's always out of tune, and it's a cheap like a practice kids guitar, like kids first guitar. It's the Starcaster. You guys know about that, the Fender. It's trash. It's been through multiple hands. It was originally mine. It's a stock, by the way. It was originally mine. I had this as a child. I was supposed to learn it, and I never did. My parents were all like, well, you don't use it, so we're going to just give it away out of your room. So it went to my cousins for a few years. And then it came back to me when I was like talking with them one day. They're like, "Oh, we have that guitar still." I'm all like, "Do you want it?" Like, "Nah, you can have it if you'd like." And then ever since then, I used it. That was probably around 2017 when I got this guitar back. That's when I started like Empty Cut and like all that. I had a keyboard too that was gifted to me by a therapist. She's really cool. This isn't the microphone I used for years. This is one I bought. I have one. It was a gift from my granddad, and I used that for like all my early stuff. I also had this World War II microphone that was handmade. I paid like probably 30 or 40 bucks from my buddy. It had like a button on the side. That was the one I used for like a lot of the 2017 stuff, and then moving forward for years and years, I used my granddad's microphone that he used to like sing karaoke and like all his stuff with. And then eventually I just bought my own. My granddad's mic I still have. He passed away a few years ago, but I still keep it close. I did use his microphone for a lot of my material. One of my first live shows, my first like proper live show where I actually did like stuff, I had a loop pedal like this, kind of like this. My buddy lent it to me. It was the Irvington show. So when I was doing the Irvington, I think it was Irvington. Yeah. Anyway, I borrowed his, and I figured out how to use it. And I realized I really like it, so I went and bought my own from a local music shop. That Irvington gig was funny. If you listen to it, there's some guys like heckling me the entire time, or for like a few songs. Like, I was mostly just anxious of like if they're gonna rush the stage or something, or like touch me or some weird shit. Um, it was cool that they was like doing Beavis and Butthead like impersonations, saying like play Rob Zombie or some shit. I don't know. That's my setup. Very, very minimal. I don't like to keep it too whatever, because it's not about the presentation. It's not about all this shit. It's about the feeling, right? You can get the feeling, and if you can get the feeling, that's about it. I would show you guys how I did other things to like make art. I think you guys should take into consideration that like it's very personal and cool, and I like it and I love it, and a lot of people also love it. My minimalism isn't lack of talent. It's just all like playing to my strong suits, and like I concentrate it down to like what I'm strongest at, and then like go insane with it. I don't think anyone will ever make music like I do, and if they do, they'll never like find that great common middle ground. You know what I mean? Like, it's the themes that make it. It's the concepts, the coldness, the stillness, and a lot of this stuff is inspired by like my dreams, my interpersonal relationships. That's why it's so sad and shit. It's about loss. It's about depression. It's about numbness. It's about just living modern day. I know a lot of people don't get it, and a lot of people, you know, it's just all like, I don't know. I don't want to like sit here and defend myself. I already defend myself way too much. You know what I mean? Like, it's sad. But no, I wish that like I can like communicate what makes this so special to like me and the select people who, you know, it has had an impact on. If you know me in real life, that you know that this music's like a direct extension onto my character. And I've had people, you know, reflect on that, like, wow, your music is a good representation of all like what you represent and stuff. And I don't know, who knows? I don't want to complain. I just want to show this setup. It's like 2 pedals. There's more pedals, but I only use 2 really at a time, so I don't like to make it too, I don't know. I don't see the point of having like 10 pedals at a time. I know some people can do it, but it just seems all like that would just kill the fidelity. I like my fidelity to be muddy as hell, but I don't like it to be like staticky or anything, or overly distorted. I don't like to put a lot of distortion on. But also one thing, my DAW, my DAW is Audacity. I use Audacity, so I can put extra digital delay on there, extra digital reverb on there. I usually pulse stretch a track and make that a new layer. So if I have a guitar, I can leave the guitar as is, right? This track is as is, and then I move it down here, and then I pulse stretch it, then I reverse it, and I add a little bit of reverb to it, or a little bit of delay, or whatever I think would work for the track. And then you have more layers, and then I usually put the pulse stretch either less than or more than, mostly less than the original track. Sometimes I'll just do hems into a microphone and use that for the bass of a track. Sometimes I have a Korg drum machine. I don't know where that is right now. It might be in the living room. I have a Korg drum machine that I use sometimes for like the more experimental, like rhythmic tracks. Like, I still try to do that. Go listen to the Whispering Forest. I don't remember what it's called. It's like a blue teal like album, and it's got like a fire in the center. It's like a really cool looking album cover. Whispers Hidden Flooded Forest or something. That had like a lot of those tracks in it. It's kind of like a, I don't know. Also for the albums, I usually try to do like 4-4-4. You know what I mean? Like 4 vocal guitar tracks, 4 standard vocal tracks, 4 drum loops, and I try to like even it out, balance it out, equilibrium out, and then I organize them based off of how they feel like in the process. I really like putting like, it's really case by case basis. I couldn't give you an example, but like I feel like I know how to organize an album. I know what sounds great and where it sounds great at. And like it's really depending on like a few things, the momentum of the album, the momentum of the songs, you know what I mean? It's just all like you got to have them build into a cohesive linear narrative. It's not a mixtape. It's not a randomized whatever. Now sometimes I do leave it randomized. For the cassette albums I do, cuz I record onto cassette and then I re-edit them later and then put them up as an album, which I've done like a few times. There's like Swamp Ethereal. There's like 2 more on the Scum Alice archive account, like the extended like EPs and all the weird stuff that I've done over the years that like don't feel like proper albums, that, you know, unfinished, but like, you know. Anyway, for those I do put them in random order. I just randomize them. I'm trying to find, and hear me out, I want to find a middle ground, because I have this concept in my head where it's all like trackless, titleless, artist nameless, like themeless, only images and sound. And on top of that, everything would be randomized. Because I feel like the one thing I don't like about music is like titles and like names and shit. I go through even my favorite artists and I'm like looking at the track titles and I hate it. I hate them. I hate the track titles. They're ultimately meaningless, and I like to separate myself from like this narrative or whatever. Not narrative, but like, I don't know. I don't like it. I really don't like it. I don't know, lyrics and stuff, most people can't do lyrics. I listen to all sorts of music. I think my least favorite part of music is definitely lyrics. It could be my favorite part too. It's just all like, I have high expectations for people, and a lot of people just don't know how to write lyrics. And then some of my favorite lyricists are people who get hated on relentlessly. It's crazy. I don't know. Lyricism is a really hard game. Words are a very hard game, and I overthink words. I think that like words are the most important part of a song. If it really is meaningful and impactful, then it's like perfect. I think Dream Pop has a lot of good stuff that inspires me. I like some cloud rap. Well, a lot of cloud rap. I don't know. Some people be sharing lyrics that I just absolutely can't get behind at all, though. Like, they're too, like, loose. I don't know how to explain it. It's a hard one. I'll have to talk about this later, because when it comes to my philosophy of music, it's a lot different than my setup. And everything plays into it. I overthink everything. Everything is, like, a complicated mess of all, like, the Baudrillard, you know, the networking, I don't remember even the word for it, but it's like a complex network of thoughts and ideas, and most of it goes on is definitely in my head, and what goes on in the music doesn't really touch the music, right? It mostly just like plays on the back burner while the music is happening in the forefront. The reason it is the way it is because I've made conscious decisions to make it the way it is. And sometimes I've had misfires, and sometimes those misfires get critiqued first, and it's just all like, and then it plays back to my delusion, like, maybe I haven't thought this through yet enough in my own head to make it like whatever. Because when people compliment my music, it's usually the stuff that I've like had time to like really sit down with and like properly project back into the music, right? It's a tough one. Everything goes through like layers and layers of perfectionism. Like I know it doesn't seem like it's something that's all like whatever for perfectionism, but like there is a lot of perfectionism that takes place in the concepts that I present and the sounds that I present. It's just like, if it doesn't sound right, then I gotta deconstruct it further. I don't know. Who knows? New album's coming soon, though.